Thank you very much, everybody. And now the national anthem for Scotland, Flower of Scotland, sung by Amy MacDonald.
Well, welcome to Hampden Park for a fixture between Scotland and Argentina, which has been in the international diary for some time, but has recently been given a totally different and much bigger focus. The first match as head coach of his country, of Argentina's prodigal but favourite son, their World Cup winning captain of 1986, an all-time great as a player, of course, Diego Armando Maradona. Alan McGregor of Rangers wins only his third cap in goal for Scotland, with Craig Gordon, one of 7 of George Burley's original selections, ruled out. Alan Hutton of Spurs returns for the first time this season. In midfield, captain Barry Ferguson's last cap was a full year ago, and it's a first start in Scotland colours for the Wolves striker, 30-year-old Chris Iwelumo. In all, 7 changes from the Norway game last month. Well, Argentina have rested Lionel Messi, and Sergio Aguero had to leave Scotland yesterday because of problems of pregnancy of his partner, Janina, who just happens to be one of Diego Maradona's daughters. So no problem getting the time off. Liverpool's Javier Mascherano is the new coach's new captain. There's a first cap for Emiliano Papa in defence, the 128th for Javier Zanetti. And Carlos Tevez, who struggled to get into the Manchester United side recently, is a key to Maradona's plans from the start tonight. Well, there will be a minute's silence out of respect for Ian McCall, a former Scotland manager, and Pedro Pompilio, the former president of Boca Juniors, a first vice president of the Argentina Football Association. They will be remembered here, and Scotland's players, you might have noticed already, are wearing black armbands.
Señoras y señores, esta noche se hace honor al entrenador de la selección escocesa, Ian McCall, y al señor Pedro Pompilio, presidente de Boca Juniors y primer vicepresidente de la Federación Argentina, quien ha fallecido recientemente. Por favor, guarden silencio durante los minutos que dure el acto conmemorativo. Muchas gracias.
The officials from Germany and the referee who supervised the minute's silence, Felix Briesch, a 33-year-old financial lawyer from Munich. Well, this is the first meeting between the two countries since 1990, and only the 4th ever, but in one of which, the previous 3, Maradona scored his very first goal for Argentina here at Hampden Park, so those memories have come back for him and he's had a wonderful welcome in Scotland. His Hand of God goal, part of course of Argentina in their famous light blue and white stripes here. Of course, they knocked England out of that World Cup through Maradona, and in Scotland that was seen not as a tragedy but more as a triumph for Argentina. Scott Brown of Celtic has been involved recently in Champions League duty. Now it's international action. And Argentina have had a strange run recently. They've won only one of their last 8, but lost only one of their last 10. So that tells you there have been a lot of draws there, and there has been in Scotland's record recently as well. But what effect and for how long will Maradona bring to the country he starred and occasionally spoilt the reputation of as a player? Maxi Rodriguez spotting up the corner. They really have been short of goals, Argentina, and they're looking for one here, and certainly got plenty of height with Heinze in there and Di Michelis coming up from the back. Was the Bayern centre-back here, who got his head to it, got in front of Iwelumo, but put it wide. Alan Hutton had some injury problems. And it was a chance really for Di Michelis from the first corner of the game. Hutton takes the throw. Ricocheted off the back of Barry Ferguson has given Argentina a momentary spell of possession. Well, it's hardly been about the players over the past couple of days. It's really been all about Maradona. George Burley's had a little bit of publicity as Scotland's head coach, but his assistant Terry Butcher, who played in that fateful quarter-final, fateful from England's point of view, in 1986 in Mexico, has also been getting plenty of publicity for his lack of forgiveness for what happened to England. Of course, Maradona scored another quite brilliant goal to go with the one that he punched into Peter Shilton's net. And Butcher has been seen in the reruns of that goal labouring after the man who's in the opposite technical area as the game goes on here, and we should talk about that rather than follow the trend of the past couple of days and concentrate too much on Maradona. Papo, he's given him his debut, and this is Fernando Gago. Most of the Argentina players, all but Emiliano Papa, based in Europe these days. Papa's from Vélez Sarsfield. Mascherano trying to pick out Lavezzi. He's one of those who's come through the latest Olympic successful side. Back-to-back gold medals, of course. 2004 in Athens, 2008 in Beijing. Mascherano was involved in both of those triumphs, the only one. Tevez. The evergreen Zanetti. Scotland defending with a bit of strength, certainly with numbers. Fullbacks tucking in. Jonas Gutierrez has moved from Spain to England, Newcastle United, in the European close season. And a chance for Chris Commons, now of Derby County, to get on the ball. Here he is again. Qualified for Scotland via a grandparent, and pushed for Scotland by Archie Gemmell from the East Midlands. Commons played for Nottingham Forest before moving to Derby. Very much in Gemmell's past and Gemmell's territory. Brown held it up well. Club colleague Paul Hartley of Celtic springing it wide to Broadfoot of Rangers, who usually plays on the right. Commons with a chance to get the better of Zanetti, and he did with a cross that needed a bit of defending by the near post by Argentina. Lavezzi. Now Gutierrez. Tevez. His great mate Mascherano. Of course, they came into English football together at West Ham, but not for long. Heinze. Tevez found by Gago. Papa able to make the run down the left side here. Very much left-sided. Gago. Maxi Rodriguez did very well. And the volley turned away by McGregor. The first real save he's had to make on his return to international colours, but there might be more to come. But Tevez in the end caught betwixt and between. Mascherano really caught this. Not noted as a goal scorer. Very well set up by some juggling by Maxi Rodriguez. It would have been a wonderful goal, worthy of Maradona himself. And then in the end it rather petered out. Scotland so often greater than the sum of the individual parts. Huge national pride here. But they haven't got a very good record in so-called friendly games at Hampden. They actually haven't won one since 1996. And they could have gone behind here as we look from the opposite side of the pitch. But whatever angle you see it from, it was wonderful play and pretty decent save by McGregor. Got the ball away from the danger area as he parried it. Argentina have settled the quicker. The goalkeeper Juan Pablo Carrizo of Lazio. Gago. Tevez. They've worked it well here, very well indeed. It's a super goal scored by Maxi Rodriguez. Scotland were really cut apart, and what a start for Maradona's men. Short and crisp. Gutierrez saw the extra man coming. Tevez played his part in the early development of this outstanding attack. And Maxi Rodriguez, who was a scorer in Britain, in England, in fact, at Liverpool recently for Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, scores here in Scotland. And the magician as a player, who's got very little experience as a coach, has got a goal inside the opening 10 minutes in the job. And it was reward for the early attitude and aptitude of Argentina here. Fast out of the traps, a new coach to impress. And that was impressive. They're currently third in their World Cup qualifying section, 10 games played out of this marathon of 18. But they lost the last game, and it was the end of the coach Alfio Basile. He resigned. They were beaten in mid-October in Santiago, away to Chile. Scotland famed for their lack of respect for reputations. They can ruffle famous feathers here at Hampden Park, but haven't really got going yet. Many changes from the last match against Norway, most of them enforced. Argentina again slicking their passes around. Tevez. Mascherano. Zanetti going ahead of Maxi Rodriguez. Mascherano dropping it over Broadfoot. Maxi Rodriguez scoring his 7th goal for his country, 28th cap. He was there in the World Cup finals of 2 years ago, and of course you might recall he got involved in that unseemly affair after the game had finished against Germany when they'd been knocked out in the quarter-finals. They don't often lose gracefully, Argentina, and you could argue, well, it's not the worst trait in the world, but they're trying to get the most out of a talented crop of players. And that combination between Zanetti and Maxi Rodriguez again troubling Scotland on the far side. Gago couldn't quite thread the eye of the needle with that particular pass. And Mascherano quickly won it back for Gutierrez. And at the moment, Scotland really struggling to get out of their own half. Gutierrez. Hartley can't get a grip on the midfield at the moment with Barry Ferguson in there. Hutton. It's a bit of a miscue by Ainse. Gutierrez has already shown in his time in England's Premier League what a hard-working player he is. Lavezzi putting himself, I think, more under pressure than Scotland were putting him under. George Burley's got some thinking to do here, because they're just not in the game at the moment, but it's still early days, still inside the opening 15 minutes, but Argentina already lead. Iwalumo, who is now hoping that his strike partner McFadden could have fastened onto that. That's the second time that they've threatened. There was the cross from Commons early on, which had a hint of danger about it before the goal from Maxi Rodriguez. Gutierrez breaks for Emiliano Papa. Now Gago. When you lose the ball to Argentina, as Scotland are doing on a too regular basis at the moment, it can work very hard to get it back. Ainse. De Michaelis. Nice work by Tevez. And Lavezzi, almost ran on through for Maxi Rodriguez again. Again, the interplay started wider on the right-hand side, again found himself in the position where he might have gone on and got another goal. Craig Gordon, the first choice goalkeeper, is out with an ankle problem. McGregor of the Rangers and David Marshall of the English Championship, the second tier of English football, from Norwich City. The two goalkeepers here for George Burley tonight. Here's Commons, who also plays in that Championship for Derby County. Scotland not blessed these days with a pool of Premier League players, and they're having to resort to all sorts of means to try and at least get into the faces of their more illustrious opponents. And Barry Ferguson was late. Scotland have won one, drawn one and lost one in their 3 matches in Group 9 of the European World Cup qualifiers. They've only scored 2 goals, but they've only conceded 2. And Gutierrez just caught Brown, and George Burley taking this opportunity to try and get some players further up the field. But the free kick is a short one. Hutton. There's a club understanding. Gary Caldwell and Stephen McManus, the two central defenders of Celtic and Scotland tonight. Handed on by Iwelumo, who has got a physical presence to his game. He had an unfortunate start to his Scotland career when he came on as a substitute. Diego Maradona may have watched the video of the match against Norway, and Iwelumo very soon after his first touches of the ball in international football missed a really good opportunity which probably would have beaten the Norwegians on the day. He's more a provider for others perhaps at this level than a scorer himself. The referee from Munich sees Hutton having lost the ball with his first touch. Going again with a high boot against Papa, and he's penalised him for it. Gago. And Scotland's head coach George Burley trying to get his team to not drop too deep, but they're doing it out of not so much respect but almost fear for Argentina. Gutierrez, Tevez. Well, there was a gap, I thought, across the goalkeeper towards the far post, but Lavezzi couldn't find it. But for a side that have only scored 5 times in their last 8 matches, Argentina, they're threatening to really put Scotland to the sword here. Another save needed by McGregor, who's made a good one already from Mascherano and been beaten by Maxi Rodriguez. Scotland have fallen down the FIFA rankings. It's not much more than a year ago. They were flying high. They were 13th. Now they're 33rd. Ferguson. Now Paul Hartley, but easily spotted by Gutierrez, and Scotland losing the ball in their own half again. Oh, and this time the attempt by Tevez to play it wide here. He saw Papa on the move and also saw Iwica, but couldn't pick out either of them. Lebetsi. On from Mascherano. Lebetsi chases again. The flag had gone up for offside. This might please George Burley a bit. It shows his defenders are holding a higher line. Commons. Save done by Scotland this time. And McFadden, who's very strong on his left side, seemed to have set himself up for a shot. Indeed, was able to let rip, but it was just deflected. The ball sat up a little bit awkwardly. I think Michaelis had a problem here, but it was a problem that he actually solved by sticking out that foot, and feels a bit more like Hampden Park. The home supporters have had 20 minutes or so watching the ball in the other half of the pitch, and now out comes Carrizo from a Scotland corner. Ferguson trying the first-time cross. It would be unwise of Argentina to underestimate the Scotland potential here, just because they've had a silky 20 minutes, and just because they've scored an early goal. Hurled in by Alan Hutton towards Iwelumo. Different ploy here involving McFadden. A good spot by Ferguson. Broadfoot. Commons in early. Oh, and it's rather fumbled at the foot of the post by Carrizo. Ferguson again. Suddenly getting a few more passages of play through midfield that suggest that Scotland might be stemming the flow. That's the first task, really. If they can do that, then they might build a platform to take the game in the opposite direction to the way it was going for the first 20 minutes. McFadden. McManus. Now Ferguson, the orchestrator again. Able to take it down. Hutton works it through to Scott Brown. This is better from Scotland. Hartley. And they've gone into reverse, but at least they're keeping the ball. Just past the halfway mark in the first half. Hutton, who is a really adventurous right back and also somebody who doesn't pull out of a tackle. The ball was running away from them. Ainsay was favourite to get it. Well, he can dish it out as well, Gabby Ainsay. But he's pointing to what might be a bit of blood through the sock. A few weeks ago, Alan Hutton caught the Stoke City goalkeeper Thomas Sorensen in a challenge going through on goal, and there's some strong words from the Stoke camp about Hutton's behaviour. The Tottenham man did apologise. He's waved a friendly arm towards Ainsay here. McGregor leaving it wisely to McManus. Tidied up. Michaelis. And Tevez. Maxi Rodriguez again. Lavezzi was waiting at the far post. Lavezzi of Napoli, a club, of course, where Maradona plied his trade. Good header by Di Michaelis. Hutton he got the ball down and found himself put down on the Hampden Park turf. Capacity here just over 50,000 these days. Far cry from the era between the two world wars, when attendances were around the 150,000 mark, or just under. Even in 1960, that famous European Cup final between Real Madrid and Eintracht Frankfurt, the 7-3 game, well over 100,000 here. And again, one or two encouraging signs for Scotland, reflected in the volume in the stadium. Still a Hampden roar here. Up comes Gary Caldwell. Iwelumo trying to block off the goalkeeper. McFadden's in there trying to make a nuisance of himself as well. Hartley takes the corner in towards Broadfoot, and Stephen McManus was coming in as well. Nearly came off for Scotland, one from the training ground. The touch at the near post, the big man to try and apply a killer blow for the second header. Deep from Commons, goalkeeper not looking very certain. Had a bit of a bang as well, but I must say he looked a bit fearful as the ball came in. McManus to one side, Caldwell behind him. It's a free kick. Argentina off to a real flyer here for Diego Maradona, but Scotland never short of bravery. They've got themselves further up the pitch, shall we say. They have to concede some ground here as Scott Brown is penalised. March 1990. The one Scotland win. It was in this stadium. Stuart McKimmie played 40 times for Scotland. It was his only goal. Argentina were the reigning world champions, but weren't to be so for that much longer. 4 months later, they first got to the final in 1990. Lost to Germany. In Italy. Ain't It's a more even game now, but Argentina have the lead from their spell of supremacy. Gago. Di Michaelis, easily spotted by Commons, and off goes McFadden. Just ran out of room. He's done well for Scotland. Scored 14 goals for his country. Now with Birmingham City, again at the second tier of English football. A league that George Burley left when he was manager of Southampton to answer the call of his country. Iwelumo. Mascherano's given it away. There was just a bit of a late foot in there by Tevez. Barry Ferguson not complaining. Tevez has lost out a little bit at Manchester United this season because of the arrival of Berbatov. Berbatov and Rooney have been more often than not the preferred pair for Alec Ferguson. One of the problems Tevez has is he's still on loan at United. From whom? Well, it is a whom and not a club. Ferguson. One or two neat touches from Commons. McFadden. No foul this time. So half an hour gone. It's been a good contest, played at a competitive tempo. Argentina really dictated that from the first whistle, and Scotland have had to raise their play to stop the game being over inside this opening half an hour. And Commons coming in. He can be a goal scorer as well as a wide man, and spotting it from the opposite flank, got into a good position. He was a fair way out as Hutton drilled in the cross. Put his head to the ball in front of two defenders. Shouts for handball by George Burley and his players, and referee Briefs rules in Scotland's favour. Now Iwelumo would love to get the first international goal and be remembered for something else other than his miss against Norway. Here he is. Forward by Maxi Rodriguez, but again Avetsi having to come very deep, and you can see once more how Scotland's extra endeavours are starting to at least produce some territorial success. Gary Caldwell. Brown. And back by McFadden. Now Hutton. And caught by a long leg of Gutierrez, who was a little bit after that as well. That was the original infringement, even though Gutierrez, after getting Hutton, reached out and got the ball. So the left-footer Commons. Manus is up. They've caused one or two problems from set plays already, Scotland. Ooh, and a bit of a swirl here on the wind and on the ball, certainly. Took it away from Dean Michaelis. Whether he let it go deliberately, he might have done. Just pull out there or just miss it. Well, Broadfoot missed it as well. McFadden got back, but he was able to get to the ball because of a bit of impeding of Gago. Tevez. Again, the passing from Argentina, not quite carrying the threat of earlier in the game, and then Mascherano finds himself chasing Kirk Broadfoot. Ferguson. Hutton. Kept by Brown. And then by Hartley. It's a little bit too high for McFadden. I don't think it's been a case of Argentina taking their foot off the gas. Just to address the problems that were being caused in the opening 20 minutes. Papa. Tevez. Mascherano. Blocked by Commons. And they've got a problem here, though, Scotland. Carlos Tevez. Commons had come infield a little bit, and you could see that Zanetti had noticed that and run into the space. He was well found and picked out Tevez. Such a shrewd customer, Javier Zanetti, the most capped Argentinian player of all time, 128 international appearances. Tevez, who's still only 24, is playing for his country for the 43rd time tonight. He can rack up plenty more. McManus, with just under 10 minutes to go to half-time. Broadfoot. Really concentrated on his kick, McGregor, but rather dragged it across. He didn't get much distance to it. Carrizo also drops it onto the foot of an opponent. And that's a late challenge by Ainsley on McFadden. That was a take that. Which is why it was slightly ironic to see Ainsley complaining about the incident with Hutton a few minutes back. Caldwell, here is Hutton. It's a straighter ball in the end, and would have happened if Caldwell had put the original free kick into the box. McFadden, big pressure by Broadfoot as well. Commons. That's disappointing, really, because he's shown already that he has got the capacity to really deliver from that left-hand side. One or two Argentinian players have been drawn across to try and deal with this. Well, this is Carlos Tevez, Gutierrez, Maxi Rodriguez, 1-0 Argentina in the 8th minute. But after 38 minutes, that's the way it has stayed. And Scotland doing better in the way of standing their corner. Typified by Gary Caldwell going in there into a challenge he might not have made in the opening 10 minutes when there was a bit too much respect shown by the Scots, and they paid a price for it. Michaelis, forced back by McFadden. Got it again. Knocked out by Zanetti. Won't panic easily, Argentina. Mascherano, Tevez. Gago. Maxi Rodriguez gets there, and the Broadfoot intercepts, but at the cost of a corner. comes Ainse. You might remember right at the start of the game, Di Michaelis could have done better. Probably the headed chance came too early in the match for him. You can see Rodriguez with the corner. Iwelumo deals with it. McGregor saved a penalty in his last game for Scotland. Came on as a substitute against Northern Ireland back in August. Oh, Di Michaelis is in trouble here. McFadden! Well, trouble of his own making for the central defender. Why not give it to the goalkeeper? No, that's too easy. Why not knock it out of play? No, that's too easy. Fanny about on the ball, and McFadden was delighted that was happening and could have easily brought Scotland level. McFadden again. Gago. Just lost some of the tempo of their passing, Argentina. And again, you can see Scotland at least trying to win the ball back well forward. The danger is if they really get the passes together, they will be caught out again, such as the skill that Maradona's side possess. But here's Hutton. Isn't quite happening for Argentina towards the end of the first half, the way it happened at the start of the first half. Iwelumo to make a nuisance of himself. Obviously the Scotland players closest to it. Sure, they saw a touch off Ainse, but Broadfoot apologising for what wasn't the best ball in the first place. Gutierrez. Tevez. And what George Burley and Diego Maradona will be thinking about substitutions. With the 6 permitted from each bench. Tevez. Playing for the free kick. And with a couple of minutes left in the first half. He's got it. Ferguson, I think, with something on the lines that I never touched him. And he might have done. It's been an absorbing first half, particularly seeing Scotland go about their business of dealing with the opposition who started, as is so often the case when there's a new man in charge of the team, especially when it's this man in charge of this team. Started in electrifying fashion, Argentina here. Hutton well placed to make the interception. Wanting to power on. But Iwelumo's lost it and Hutton's got to get back, but Argentina not quite recognising the opportunity to come down this side of the pitch, which was not so well defended. Di Michaelis. Not really been too much in the way of time to be added on here, but we've got a stoppage now. And a yellow card. Gary Caldwell coming into the back of Carlos Tevez. Right on the 45-minute mark. And the time that's being added on is being added on for this episode. Maradona took plenty of knocks in his playing career. He's as the boss, he's going to fight the corner of Carlos Tevez in any way he can. And that wasn't very pretty from Caldwell. I just wonder if it had been a competitive game rather than an international friendly, whether it might have been a more serious redress for the Scotland defender. Well, the only time taken was a treatment time for Tevez. His side in his first 45 minutes as Argentina's top man off the pitch. He was top man on it for many, many years, of course. They got a goal in the 8th minute from Maxi Rodriguez to mark the reign of the new manager. But Scotland have stuck in since then, and McFadden, after some ridiculous hesitation by Di Michaelis, and nearly in for an equaliser that possibly they didn't quite deserve, but they certainly got better, Scotland. And at half-time here at Hampden Park, it is Scotland 0, Argentina 1.
No radicals, no communists, no leaders, no followers, no forces. No one can stop your instinctive desire for knowledge.
They're just out of the shell right beside us.
As long as you keep questioning, so will we. BBC World News. Never stop asking.
England's Tour of India, one-day international series, live on Setanta Sports.
That's going to be four. That's comprehensive. Good swivel on that back foot. First boundary of the inning. Has he got him? Yes.
England's Tour of India continues Sunday, exclusively live on Setanta Sports.
Welcome back to Hampden Park, and it's a second-half entrance for Lee Miller of Aberdeen. It's only his second cap. He wasn't in George Burley's original squad, but got a call-up when the withdrawal started to happen on a regular basis. But he comes on with Diego Maradona's Argentina. A goal to the good after an impressive start to the first half, not quite so impressive at the finish. It's Lee Miller for Iwelumo, who we understand has a damaged hamstring. Here's Huck. No changes for Argentina. Brown. Header out by Di Michaelis. Broadfoot on the charge. He's that sort of player. Maybe not the most sophisticated international footballer that Scotland have ever produced, but no one would be more wholehearted. It's 2.5 years since Lee Miller won his only previous Scottish cap. Hartley having a look at the ball, but also having a look back at his somewhat stricken skipper. And Scotland knocked the ball out, just in case Barry Ferguson needs some attention. And a challenge with Lavezzi. Kenny Miller is one of the absentees. Normally maybe be up front for Scotland. It's his namesake, the second half substitute, who gives away the free kick here. Okay, listen, wouldn't be surprised if George Burley hasn't said to his team, look, when he's on the ball, after a chance that he nearly presented, or did present McFadden with in the first half, and now the assistant on the far side is clanging against Scott Brown. A challenge on Papa. Just caught him at the back of the heel there. A slightly delayed reaction. There was a bit of contact. I wouldn't think it's enough to interrupt Papa's international debut for too long. There's just a bit of bubbling under in terms of the rivalry here. It doesn't take too much for Argentina to, how shall I say, become ultra competitive. Here's Gutierrez. This way to quell any Scotland revival would be to get a second goal. Not going to get it like that. Maradona's game, incidentally, here was in 1979. Argentina won 3-1, 2 from Luque, who'd starred in the World Cup triumph of '78. Maradona was left out, one of those from the enlarged squad who, when it was trimmed, was left out in '78, deemed too young. And he was too good for Scotland when he came here a year later. Well, it was an attempt at a snapshot by Gago. Ferguson. Hartley. Oh, and Broadfoot with another heavy touch. As I say, technically perhaps not the most gifted. Let's go forward, says George Burley. That's been the message. Get the team up, play in the opposition's half if they can. Commons. Miller chasing. Some acrobatics from De Michelis. Mascherano. The crowd on that far side thought Papa was making too much of Brown's challenge. Certainly moving freely enough. Chicago. Mascherano. I think we've seen George Burley waving Scotland forward. I think Maradona would like to see Argentina going forward with a little bit more ambition. Been rather slovenly in possession again. Cleared by Caldwell. Miller had come back from an offside position when the ball was struck. Ainsley. Amusing themselves in that section of the stadium. The Scots have brought a lot of pro-Maradona flags and banners here. They still want to see their side win the international. Hutton, McFadden. And now Tevez passing on to A loose ball. Tevez had picked himself up again. A bit of pressing from Argentina now. And they feel that they might nick it here, and they have done. And Lavezzi's got a chance. But that was good coordinated pressing, sensing that Scotland were overplaying a bit here and hadn't quite got the calibre of football to get themselves out of that tight corner. And in the end, Lavezzi not so comfortable checking back onto his left foot this time. And no goal for the Napoli man. Ainsley. Caldwell. And Scotland just once or twice getting lulled into trying to play Argentina at their own game. Not quite having the raw materials to do that. But Scotland's strengths, togetherness, their willingness, their aggression. There's a certain amount of technique as well. They would expect to be second to Argentina in that respect. Here's Hutton. Will show ambition from right back. Not the quality of the cross, although McFadden applauded the intention of the player who left Rangers for Tottenham in January. It's the visitors here, Claudio Canigia. Of course, played in Scotland and played with Maradona for Argentina. And he can enjoy a joke watching in the stands, but full focus on for the man whose responsibility it is here to get a result. There haven't been any great obvious tactical changes, and certainly no team changes to this point. They still lead from the early goal. Scott Brown must be in danger of wearing the referee's patience a bit too thin. But it is a decision that goes Scotland's way this time, and Commons, with Caldwell up and McManus up and Broadfoot up. Could be a set play that could get the Scots back into this. Commons takes it, and Carito had to be brave. It was a nearly moment for Scotland. 10 minutes into the second half. It's got the crowd upping the volume again at Hampden Park. Maxi Rodriguez, the scorer of the game's only goal. Tevez. Mascherano. Good continuity play from him. They haven't forgiven Papa. Ainsley. Gutierrez. Lavezzi. Done very well, and referee trying to give him the advantage, but pulling play back. And it was clear that there wasn't much of an advantage. Hartley grabbed him then, and then Hutton's tackle was a strong one, and Mascherano protesting to the German referee about some of the treatment that Scotland are dishing out. Free kick works short. Mascherano. Now Ainsley. Still no real shape to the second half, but that may change now. Oh, on the back heel from Lavezzi. Didn't quite come off. Here's Commons. Ferguson none the worse for that bang early in the second half. Might have been a little clip on McManus by Tevez, who looks all injured innocence, but the assistant is almost twice his size, so I think any argument might be pointless. Hutton. Well, it's a game of staccato mood at the moment. Stops and starts. Free kick after free kick. And Broadfoot has to play safe with his right foot. Caldwell. That's a giveaway to Mascherano. Tevez trying to go all the way. It's almost as if they've been provoked into some footballing retaliation. One or two incidents in the second half. Nice dummy by Gago. And then Tevez chased by Hartley, and maybe with his left foot it might have been 2-0, but with his it wasn't. Scotland going to make more changes. Barry Ferguson, who they're pleased to have back, isn't going to go the distance here. And Paul Hartley going off as well. Sean Maloney is the more experienced of the two substitutes. Here he is. You've already seen Scott Robertson of Dundee United come on for his first appearance at senior level for Scotland. He didn't win any under-21 caps either. So that's 3 changes already by George Burley. Trying to outmaneuver a less experienced coach in the other dugout. There's some switches of personnel. Commons on the right now. And getting the better of Gutierrez. Comes out to Scott Brown. Brown again. It's better from Scotland. And Maxi Rodriguez would like to be raiding in the other half of the pitch, has to come right down deep to defend. McManus. Argentina wanted another free kick then against McManus. Vetzi is the one who's getting a fair bit of hammer at the moment. Hamas has taken over the captaincy, incidentally, from the departed Ferguson. Well, it's a big half an hour for Scotland here. They're still in with a real shout of getting something from this game. And the referee being urged by the Argentina players to curb some of this maybe excessive zeal. I don't think it's much more than that, as the Scots try to find an equaliser. Gutierrez. Hardly need to tell you, when Papa's on the ball, the crowd do it with their boos. Gago. Zanetti. Gago again, but even when he was 25, Zanetti wouldn't have caught that, and he's 35 now. Scotland are often at their very best when they're painted as the underdogs. When will he make his first move in terms of changing the personnel, or indeed the battle plan? Free kick against Scotland again. McFadden the culprit. Certainly broken up the rhythm of Argentina's play, which really gave the game an air of high quality in the first quarter. Something that had to be done from Scotland's point of view. Ainsley. Safely done by Broadfoot. Maloney, who's returned to Scottish football after a spell in England with Aston Villa. Zanetti. And here goes Hutton. And he's slightly overdone it, but he thought he was fouled, but Scotland have still got the ball. And they've got Maloney, who's got quick feet and a quick brain and capacity to produce moments of real magic. He scored an absolutely fantastic goal recently for Celtic away to Hearts with a 25-yard volley. Caldwell. Robertson, who's on the number 19, like Lee Miller, late replacements in George Burley's squad, and now finding themselves in the hurly-burly of the action itself. McManus, but it drops the way of Tevez. Tevez seems to be concentrating on the ball. He's telling Mascherano to put it out. And it's Scott Brown who dropped to the deck. Tevez just catching him on top of the foot. Very painful. It's the footwear of top players these days, built for lightness and a feel for the ball and not necessarily for protection. It's quite an issue in the game, especially that type of incident where a foot maybe with a blade, not a sharp blade, but the blades that are used now by a lot of players instead of studs, can really break the cluster of small bones on top of the foot, the metatarsals. Doesn't look as though Scott Brown's got that problem. Maradona's team still lead. 20 minutes gone in the second half. They've led since the 8th minute through Maxi Rodriguez. It's one of the bigger cheers of the night as Papa was penalised for taking too long over a throw. Broadfoot. McManus. Missed the Norway game through suspension. He was sent off in Scotland's last win away in Iceland. McFadden winding up for that strong left foot, but didn't have the time that he wanted. Mascherano did well. Up by Gago. Oh, and he didn't want the whistle to go, Argentina, because it looked as though Lavezzi was going to win that race and be clean in at goal. Gago had played his pass when Commons caught him. McFadden, who's now going off, just couldn't get his shot away. Gago did very well to dispossess him. That was his last contribution, a Birmingham City player. And on comes David Clarkson. He's only played once for Scotland before, but he did score a goal as a substitute against the Czech Republic back in May. Warm up for Euro 2008 for the Czechs. Plays for Motherwell. Mascherano. Gutierrez. Tevez. Gago. And a mixed bag, the game of Lavezzi. Commons, but Gutierrez, who's got a great sense of athleticism about his play. He's a good footballer, he's very good on the ball, but he certainly does his shift off the ball, and got Argentina out of trouble then. Trying to up the tempo once more, the South American nation. And here is Maxi Rodriguez. Well, he was encouraged to shoot, really. Broadfoot showing him the outside, but in danger of showing him enough of the goal for him to find it. And in the end, the shot was rushed and way off the mark. Played wide by Robertson. Broadfoot on the attack this time. Trying to work with Clarkson. And, giving Di Michaelis a problem. That must have been very, very close to the whole of the ball crossing the line. As well worth the roars from the Scottish fans and from Clarkson himself. Here's Caldwell. Oh, there's a deflection that might have looped over Carrizo, with Argentina not getting tight to Lee Miller. He was able to turn it. It was well worth the crack, and how often have we seen those loop up over a stranded goalkeeper and into the net? Maloney with the corner, and it was Miller there again. Oh, what happened here? It's gone over Di Michaelis, and Miller couldn't get his head round it. Well, there is going to be, finally, an Argentina change. Gutierrez coming off, giving way to Luis Gonzalez, Lucho Gonzalez of Porto, who's an experienced replacement. Played a lot more than Gutierrez for their country. 41st cap for Gonzalez. He's come to Scotland with quite a severe haircut compared to what we've seen him before. Robertson, Hutt, and Caldwell. Scotland striving to, they've got to commit, maybe there's a risk of overcommitting, but they've got to push players on, and there is the risk that Argentina might hit them on the break. Gonzalez couldn't quite reach it. goes Gago. Caldwell. To play safe. It's not the best kick by McGregor. Argentina, you see the number of players that they've got quickly forward here. They sense the opportunity to win the ball. Gonzalez just hasn't got going quite yet. So soon after coming on, in goes Di Michaelis, not once but twice. He's there again. And he's got Argentina a free kick. And really for the first time this evening we'll be able to see what Maradona's charges can do in a Maradona position. Di Michaelis did really well for his side. He won the ball near the halfway line, kept on going, joined in, and then got brought down. Well, the candidates here are Ainse, who is the left footer. It is slightly favouring the left footer's side. Maxi Rodriguez, hands on hips. And Carlos Tevez. Ainse, nothing too special, certainly not a Maradona moment from one of his players. Tevez gets it back and gets brought down here rather cynically. Sean Maloney was always coming second in terms of starting the race behind, and he hasn't got a huge amount of weight to throw around even against a smallish player like Tevez. So more changes for Scotland. Off comes McManus, so the armband gets passed on again. And on comes Christophe Berra, born in Edinburgh. French father, as the name suggests. It's the end of the evening for Ezequiel Lavezzi to be replaced by Herman Dennis. One Napoli player for another. Good pals. Got a hat-trick recently against Regina with Dennis. McGregor's got to scurry here. Well, you wouldn't have thought in that opening array of almost bewildering attacks from Argentina that the one goal that they scored in one of those early raids would be still the only goal with 15 minutes left. And that's the way it's turned out. Might be another one in the offing, although the ball from Tevez to Denise made that a bit less plausible. Broadfoot. Now by Broadfoot again. After some work on the ball by Brown. George Burley has rung the changes. You might have noticed there's no number 10 in the Argentina lineup today. And, with the deference, of course, to Maradona, the retired number for the country. Certainly, as far as friendly internationals are concerned, I'm not quite sure what the regulations are from World Cups. I think they have to be numbered from 1 to 23. Mascherano's pass. The frustrations of management. Been more ambassadorial, Diego Armando Maradona, since his playing days came to an end. Of course, he's had his well-documented health problems as well. He stayed very calm in his seat in the dugout. It's been George Burley who's been in the technical area very much to the fore, trying to move his team around as best a coach can. Papa. Foul by Hutton off the ball on Maxi Rodriguez. Put in by Commons. Here's Maloney. Broadfoot. Maloney again. It's coming to the time in the game where Scotland have got to take a risk of conceding a second to try and get there first. Brown. It didn't come off Chris Commons. And Tevez still full of running. Support from Gonzalez. That's again rather in keeping with the way he's not settled to this game, Luis Gonzalez. Bit of a hand there, a hand of Papa. And what have Scotland got left? It's a squad now with the substitutions on, a very, very inexperienced representation of the country out there at the moment. And one of them make themselves a real hero of this November evening in Glasgow. Zanetti. Met by Brown. And then by the head of Ainsay. Hutton. Well, they came at Miller from all sides. I think you've seen why Argentina have had problems really asserting themselves in their World Cup group. There's 13 goals in 10 games. All right, they've only conceded 7. But, been able to put opponents away, really. That's certainly been the case here at Hampden Park this evening. And Scotland are pressing now. Commons, who's had a go on the left, a go on the right, was trying to find something special through the middle. Di Michaelis. Gonzalez. And it should be McGregor's ball. Very rare these days, or much rarer, that the goalkeepers get changed at half-time, because the coaches tend to want to use the limit of 6 for outfield players. Commons and Hutton, who've been out there from the start for Scotland. Also Scott Brown. Maxi Rodriguez, still cast in the role of match winner for Argentina. Mascherano. And it's the new skipper again. Di Michaelis. Tevez. Mascherano. This will be more pleasing for the coaching staff, able to keep possession and make Scotland, who are wearying, chase the man with the ball. Mascherano. Oh, very nearly, very, very nearly for Maxi Rodriguez. Another good run. He's been switched since Denise came on to come from the left. He can do both jobs with equal facility. Here's Maloney. The willing Broadfoot up outside him. He's the old man of the Scotland team, Graham Alexander, 37 years young. Playing now for Burnley. They've been making some headlines recently. He's on for Scott Brown. Well, he's closing in on starting with a win. And there's Terry Butcher, who said he wasn't going to go out of his way to shake Maradona's hand. Now a Scotland coach, but 22 years ago an England defender in that World Cup quarter-final that one way and another Maradona decided in Argentina's favour as they went on to win the trophy. England knocked out in the Azteca Stadium. Alexander, it's often used as a right back, but has gone in where Brown was playing in the middle of midfield. So what have we got? 6 minutes to go, plus added time, and I don't think there'll be too much of that. If there is, it will be down to the number of substitutions that we've had. They tend not to add on the full quota in these friendly games where there are so many stoppages for just changing the personnel. Dean Michaelis. Papa will remember his international debut, particularly if he's part of a defence that shuts out Scotland. Both countries really have performed to recent type. Scotland typically gritty, but not quite making the attacking strides that probably they would have certainly done better with if they'd had more of their senior players available. Daniel Diaz, you just got a glimpse of, will be the latest arrival for Argentina, plays in Spain for Getafe. So Papa comes off, having been part of a defence on his first appearance for his country, but hasn't conceded with 5 minutes to go, and that's a very, very nice response. And this could be an even better response for Maradona. And Denise was just blocked in the nick of time. I think the pass from Tevez was very cute indeed. On from Luis Gonzalez, and then Denise had a couple of goes at it. But why Maradona was so so pleased with Papa, he's the young player from Argentina, a long way away from home, facing this type of football challenge for the first time, and he's, despite the boos, he's done pretty well. Zanetti. Still such a fine athlete and still prepared to press on, even though his team are winning away from home. be sure the post-match press conference will be very well attended. Everywhere he goes, there are crowds, there are cameras, flashbulbs. What a life it must be to lead. But he seems to revel in it. No. There's ways of chasing the game and ways of not chasing the game, and a yellow card for Scott Robertson. Willing here, knowing time's running out, but finding that Gago knew the challenge was coming and he made the most of it, but it was a risky one. More animated now, as the finishing line of his first game is in sight. Mascherano, and Argentina continue to lead Scotland by the 1/8 minute goal to nil. Tevez. And Gago loses control. Commons with not much help, so he decides to have a go. He's never been shy of that, and he's done very well, Chris Commons. And this might lead to something for Scotland here. Well, it leads to a corner. Clarkson involved in the attack, which was driven on by Commons with plenty of ambition, which Scotland need at this very late stage. Commons to take the corner. Hutton's in there, and it drops Argentina's way and Gonzalez's way. And the counter-attack, this from a Scotland corner, remember. Tevez. Rodriguez is waiting. Tevez didn't look in his direction. And the game spread more than it's really been at any point in the match. Team Michaelis not thinking about sitting on the lead. And McGregor always getting the ball stuck under his feet, and there's not much time for those miscalculations. We're expecting 3 minutes of added time. Tevez. Caldwell got a foot in. He's the captain now, after the departures of Ferguson and then McManus. Diaz. Not able to see it out. And one last change to use up a little bit of time. Jose Sosa being told to get ready to go on. Robertson, another number 19. Here's Graham Alexander. It's a real scratch Scotland side, you have to say, against an Argentina that have come here without a few. Of course, Messi rested as part of the deal that allowed Barcelona allowed him to go to the Olympics, a condition that he might not be needed for friendlies later in the season. Aguero, who remember has gone home from here because of family difficulties involving Maradona's daughter, one of his daughters. Diaz. And Hutton. Never going to pull out of that. The tactical late change is coming. Maxi Rodriguez, the goal scorer, comes off with 90 seconds or so left in a match that it looks as though he's settled. And this was when Argentina were really in full flow. And that was a superb goal. Worthy of winning the match, you might say. comes Jose Sosa for the last knockings here. Mascherano, really big for him to lead Argentina to victory. Luis Gonzalez. Victory could be confirmed by the counter-attack here. Sosa got a whack but kept the ball for Gonzalez. Mascherano saying, well, that's going to take a bit of retrieving. For Zanetti, he's done very well and kept the ambition up for Argentina here. And now it's just a case of holding it in the corner. No, he's trying to get a cross into his credit. Mascherano just played it to be worked into the corner. 15 seconds. Luis Gonzalez. In goes Tevez with the tackle. Well, there's no doubt that Argentina deserved the win, but it's not the margin of victory that it looked that they might get at the outset. But Diego Maradona starts as Argentina's head coach with a 1-0 triumph at Hampden Park, a ground that has happy memories for him. He scored his first goal for Argentina here. George Burley had to patch up his team before the game and during it, and they couldn't quite find a cutting edge to reply to the early strike from Maxi Rodriguez, at which point Argentina were threatening really to run away with the game even in the opening 20 minutes. They didn't do that, which is a compliment to Scotland's spirit. But wherever Maradona goes, there will always be news, there will always be headlines. This is the latest chapter in a very eventful life, with plenty of lows as well as some extreme highs. Everyone in football will wish him well, and he has started successfully. It's finished here at Hampden Park. Scotland 0, Argentina 1. From me, Martin Tyler. Until the next time, a very goodbye to you all.